Welcome to Cartagena. This is a military stronghold which has a special place throughout all of history. There's so much history here in the south of Spain, but Cartagena is a very, very special place. So I hope you'll enjoy exploring it with us. If you like our videos, please give us a thumbs up. It really helps with the algorithms on YouTube and lets more people see our videos. Every time we think that we've seen the ultimate, we're in beautiful Cartagena. They pronounce the G as an H and the E as an A, so it comes out as Cartagena. Our first stop is a tribute to Saint Barbara from the military. The Spanish infantry regard Saint Barbara as their patron saint. Now the reason, and I'm kind of jumping to the end of the story, is that her father ended up beheading her with a sword, and he was later struck by lightning that very night after killing his own daughter, and he was cooked, man. There was nothing left. So the lightning brigade and the thunder of the military, they feel like Saint Barbara is their gal. Now that gash in that statue there is representative of what her father did to her. It's a long story. You can look it up on Wikipedia, but the bottom line is she claimed to be a Christian. He was a pagan. You'll see all these towers that she's standing by have 3 windows which she commanded to be put in because she was trapped in a tower, and the windows represent the Holy Trinity, so Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. But in Cartagena, Saint Barbara is a very special saint, and there's a lot of miracles associated with her at her gravesite too, as well. First thing I like to do when I get somewhere new is get up high and see if we can have a look around and get a lay of the land. This is a Gothic Catholic church, and this is the back of it, so there's not much left of it. The hills offer an awesome view of the bay, and this is where the old fort used to be and defend the city. There's our harbor. You can't see our boat. It's behind that little building with the brown. Well, it's behind Burger King right there. Cartagena.
Did you call ahead to get that parking in front of Burger King?
I did. I wanted as close to Burger King as I could get. You got any food for him, Katya? Now here's something interesting. Behind this church, they discovered an ancient Roman theater. And it had actually been built over by, through the centuries. And this hill was not shaped like this. There were apartments and buildings and homes and streets, but as they kept digging and digging, and they found this whole amphitheater, and they've dug it out and actually begun to restore it, put a new stage down there, and they made it into part of a museum. You go through this tunnel system to come from the middle of town and go see it. It's really cool. And this is the way it used to look back in the day when Rome was at its height. This little monument is to the men and women who make Holy Week possible. There's a lot of very serious Catholicism going on in Cartagena. And all the streets that we saw are paved in this marble tile. It's just amazing. So many religious decorations everywhere. Very unusual place to visit. Gail has a whale of a tale to tell about Cartagena, that's for sure. We went through this museum, which had fascinating stuff, and the best was the Christopher Columbus map collection. This is the original map that Christopher Columbus left Gibraltar with. This is what they thought, so let's explain it a little bit. Okay. Now, in here you should see Gibraltar, Straits of Gibraltar. Okay. And there's Portugal and Spain, and up here is France. Let me zoom out a little bit. Maybe you can see it a little better. This is the Mediterranean and all the different little cities. So as you can see, the cartography of the Mediterranean was very detailed. The cartography of the different, there's the islands, Corsica, and that's where all those boats were sunk this summer from the storm that hit us. A whole bunch of boats sunk. And yeah, so there's probably just a ton of information here if you read Spanish to read. Pause the video. Okay, so they leave the Straits of Gibraltar. Where are we at here? Okay, here we are. Straits of Gibraltar, Africa, and they head out, right? Now it looks like, well, I'm not gonna superimpose what I think they might have done. However, this is what they thought. This is what they were sailing into. This was the flat Earth. Okay, and around it was the stars, and this was the known Earth at that time. So there's Africa, and I don't know, maybe when I edit this video I can make heads or tails out of it. I'll take some photos maybe and blow up that part, but this is what they knew the Earth was, surrounded by stars. So here you go, flat earthers. Here's your map. Oh, that's too funny. Anyway, it's not funny though when you think about him taking off into the ocean not knowing what he's going to find. This is the first torpedo, underwater torpedo submarine built, invented right here in Cartagena. Torpedo ship, submarine. This is the first ever torpedo, underwater torpedo launching. This is actually the torpedo they launched. Torpedo launching submarine. And it was invented right here in Cartagena by this guy, Isaac Pero Carbello. It was an all-electric boat, all-electric submarine. That's the torpedo launching tube, and he successfully tested it. And it was tested, I think, in 1880. So this guy is the father of the modern submarine. Very interesting. So Cartagena was a great military city, or still is a great military city. And in 1939, this city stood, even though it's part of Spain, stood against Franco and Mussolini and the Germans. Just the city was trying to take on the German army and the Spanish army, but this was a military city, so they had a lot of military assets. Anyway, the city was bombed relentlessly these little shell holes right here. This is, you know, what did she call it? Flak. This is just bomb debris that hit the building. This is the City Hall. Somehow the City Hall never actually got bombed in 1939. They consider it one of the many miracles of this area, attributed to Santa Barbara. So we will be looking up St. Barbara. But this city stands for truth, justice, and the American way. If it was in America, it stood against all those bad people. It was conquered, and Spain became an ally of the Nazis during World War II, but very reluctantly on these people's part. Gail and I were so fascinated by this city that we actually wrangled a private tour of City Hall, and it was spectacular. I'll tell you what, these bureaucrats know how to live, don't they?
It is sunset officially now.